Buenos dias and welcome back to another video, my friends. I hope you're staying healthy and I hope you're staying safe wherever you are in the world. Today on the channel, I am in beautiful, you can't tell quite yet because it's about 5 in the morning, but I'm in beautiful El Matador Beach in Malibu, California. And today I want to shoot blue hour photography. I want to try some blue hour blends. We'll see how that goes, but definitely we're going to shoot some blue hour photography and we'll lead into sunrise photography. So we're going to get out here in the darkness and you really can't see anything right now, but you will. So let's go. Let's get into it. All right, so I've shot off a few shots down here at El Matador Beach just to get the stars and the moon that's up right now. And I think the shots turned out pretty good. You're seeing them on the screen right now. So now we're moving into blue hour, about an hour away from sunrise. And I want to try a variety of different things, maybe some blending, some blue hour blending. We'll see what happens there. So what is blue hour, you might ask? That's the time between the hour or so before sunrise and basically the hour or so after sunset. And that's when the sky and kind of the terrain starts to get like a bluish feel to it. Not the blue skies that we're used to when it's an open blue sky day. It's more of a subdued blue, more of a deep blue, even into the purples. That's what we're gonna try to do today. It's a beautiful time to shoot, so if you've never really concentrated on blue hour, even after sunset, stick around and keep shooting that kind of light because it's a different kind of light. And whether you're shooting it at a beach like I am today, or you're out in the city, or just wherever your neck of the woods are, try shooting blue hour and you'll see that those images will come out a little different than your sunset or sunrise shots. Okay, I don't know if you can see my screen right behind me, but I will put this image on the screen. So this is a shot of me placing the two rocks in the scene, but I wanted some of the kind of start of blue hour stars in the shot. So now I'm gonna play the waiting game though, and I'm gonna wait for blue hour to really kick in. And that was shot mainly to get the background, so the stars, the moon, and so on. So now I'm gonna wait a little bit longer and I'm gonna try to get a nice, almost like moon type feel or shot to blend in with these stars. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. I'm just gonna take that first shot and I'm gonna wait a little bit and I'm gonna take this second shot and I'm gonna blend them in post. We'll see how the shot turns out, but I'll report back to you once we get a little bit more into blue hour. But while we wait, another tip on this would be to set your white balance to more of a cool tone so you start to accentuate the blue hour instead of being more in the warm tones, because that's going to fight the image a little bit and you'll have to mess with it more in post. So I would suggest being at around 3500 Kelvin, something to that effect, whatever your taste is, but 3500 seemed to be just right for this. And like I said, I already shot my background shot and I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer to shoot my foreground shot. All right, we're really hopping and bopping into blue hour here. I did mention I'm shooting on a 20mm lens right now. So I'm pumping off a few different shots here. I'm at 30 seconds, f8, ISO 250, but I'm gonna start to mess around a little bit and get into probably f11, bump that ISO back down to 100 to get a little bit less noisy image, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and shoot this one off. 30-second shutter, f8, ISO 250. All right, we're starting to get a nice band or glow on the horizon. That sun is coming. Sunrise is gonna be beautiful today, but this last shot, beautiful. It's exactly what I want. I already have the shot I need to blend, but let's go ahead and drop it down to about 20 seconds. I'm going to go f11 though, bump it up to f11, and then drop back down to about ISO 100. Actually, let's go ISO 200. Let's leave a little bit of light. It is still a little dark out here. And let's shoot this one off. Let's see what happens. All right, that turned out pretty good. I definitely have a shot that I can blend with my foreground and my earlier stars background. I think I'll be able to get something really nice. But before we go into the studio and show you how to get that process done, I do want to give you the tip that blue hour only lasts for really a short period of time, meaning it constantly changes. And so you really got to shoot off as many shots as you feel necessary, that you're comfortable with in terms of shooting that blue hour, and shoot all the way through blue hour, because you never know what you're going to get in terms of into sunrise, or if you're doing it at night, wait till the sun sets and then continue to shoot it for a while after the sun goes down, because it is just a different light, my friends. All right, now we're going to head back into the studio and we're going to blend some of these images that I took here today. But before we do, I'm going to stick around here and shoot some of this beautiful sunrise that I believe we're going to have, and I want to show you some of those images right now. After that, we'll be in the studio. So as you can see, I'm back in the studio, and I had an absolute blast out there in Malibu, shooting the stars in the early morning, shooting the blue hour photos. That's what this video is about. And then afterwards, shooting the sunrise. Just a great morning of photography. All right, on to Photoshop and Lightroom and getting these images, the two images that I talked about that I showed earlier in the video, blended. All right, so as you can see, we are in Lightroom, and I have the two photos, the star background that I want to use, basically the top half of that image, and I want to use the bottom half of the second blue hour image. And what we want to do is just try to do a simple blending in Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight both of these images. I'm going to go up here to Photo, Edit In, and then I'm going to open them as layers in Photoshop. All right, so now we have both images in Photoshop. As you can see here, on the top layer, I have the background element, and on the bottom, I have the foreground element. So what I actually want to do is switch those. I want to have the background element underneath the foreground element. Okay, so blue hour, we're going to mainly use the bottom half, or that's the idea. We're going to blend in the bottom half with the top half of the foreground element with the stars. So what I want to do is go ahead and select the top image, which again is the blue hour image here, or the foreground element. I'm going to go down to the bottom of the panel, and I'm going to click on layer mask, and I'm going to add a layer mask, as you can see there. And now what I want to do is go over here to the toolbar on the left hand side, and I'm going to search for my gradient tool. Now if you can't find the gradient tool there, or it's not there in your panel, come down here and long click on your triple dots, and you will see a whole list of tools that aren't in your toolbar. So you can add it and search it there. But since I have it, I'm going to go ahead and click on the gradient tool. And then up here, you want to make sure that you're in normal mode, okay, and your opacity is 100. Then what you want to do is come over here, and you can do this a variety of different ways, meaning you can keep trying different ways to blend. So what you want to do is click on the image. I'll click right on the horizon, okay, click, and then drag down. You can see we have a little line that drags down, and then let go. And you can see magically we have a nice little blend. We could be happy with that, call it a day, and move on. It's actually a pretty nice blend. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to go up a little higher. So this is what you want to test. I'm going to go up a little higher in the horizon and come down just to the horizon, and looky there. Now you start to see a little bit of the sunrise bar, or the sun trying to creep in there from the sunrise. Now I don't necessarily like that, so we'll undo that, but it is an option. Let's do a little bit of what we just did, but go below the horizon. That's a little bit more subtle. Again, you're going to have to play with this a little bit. I'm going to go just above the horizon and just below the horizon. That's a little better. I'm kind of liking that feel from left to right, because the sun is obviously, if not obvious, it's coming off or into the atmosphere in this scene from the left side of the screen. So you can start to see that the sunrise is starting to come in. We're starting to lose the night sky, and we're starting to include the blue hour kind of sky with a little bit of the, obviously, the golden tones there. Again, we can go a little bit higher and a little bit lower. See how that does? That actually is a little bit softer, and I kind of like that gradient. So that's what we're talking about. This is the gradient. So I think the more you expand over the scene, you're going to start getting a softer feel. So let's try that. Let's go halfway up, halfway down. Okay. Now, it's going to be to taste. I don't think I like that much of the kind of the sunrise coming in already. I want more of the darkness up top. So I feel like what we did before was kind of just above the horizon, a little bit more into the lower part of the horizon. I think I like that right there. And the only thing that I want to change is, if you look here on this rock especially, and onto this rock over here, especially the foreground rock, it has a little blue strip across it. So what I'm simply going to do is go over here to the brush tool. So what this allows me to do is paint in the rock a little more. I'm going to zoom in a bit and just kind of get the color back from the rock. I don't want it necessarily blue. We're going to do a quick job here just so you get the idea. Oops, don't go over that. So I'm being a little sloppy here, but again, we want to reveal a little bit. And again, you can go back and refine this on the edges. I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick job here. Come back over to this rock. Kind of make sure that, clean it up a little bit. Again, we went over the edge a little bit, but again, I can go back and clean that up a little bit later. The idea is there, and just like that, my friends, on the screen you see the finished product, and it's as simple as that. So go out and have fun shooting blue hour, regardless of doing blends or not. Just shoot blue hour, period. So the blue hour shot that I blended in here can live on its own. It is a nice image all by itself. It has that moon star, it has that moon surface feel, and I really just enjoy it on its own. But I thought I'd blend it in to the stars that I shot earlier in the morning, and I think that's a good look too. All right, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Please like this video if you liked any part of it. Comment down below. Let me know if you've shot blue hour. What are your favorite times to shoot in the day? Is it sunrise? Is it blue hour? Is it the night sky? Let me know. I'd really like to chat with you about it. And ring that bell to notify you of new videos when they are posted. All right, get out there. Go shoot some blue hour imagery. Love y'all. Till the next one. Peace.